Good day guys, welcome back to Aussie Savvy Cents, where we talk about Australian personal finance, investing in property, shares, and of course, precious metals. And today we'll be talking about the Australian Sixpence. This is a part of the Australian Junk Silver Predecimal and Decimal series. So if you wanted to see all the other denominations that qualify as Australian Junk Silver, have a look at the playlist above. So, without further ado, let us talk about the Australian Silver Sixpence. So the Australian Sixpence is I think it's a 19mm diameter coin. So it's a rather nicely sized coin. And it weighs about, I believe, 2.83 grams. So it's a nice little coin that was minted between the years of 1910, that we see over here, all the way through to 1963. Look at that, absolutely beautiful. Now the sixpences, like all the other denominations of silver Australian coins during the predecimal period, between the years of 1910 all the way through to 1945, they were made out of sterling silver, which is 92.5% silver. Now, the amount of silver weight that they have in these coins during that time would have been about 2.61 grams of pure silver, or 0.0839 troy ounces. How cool is that? And then, of course, after the year of 1945, silver became a little bit more expensive for our mints to be able to continue making them in sterling silver. And of course, they debased the currency in 1946 onwards to 50% silver. So between the years of 1946 all the way through to 1963, these were made out of 50% silver, and they only weighed about 1.41 grams of pure silver, which is about 0.0453 troy ounces. Absolutely gorgeous still, even though it has been debased. Now, as far as the design goes for the Australian Sixpence, there's really only one reverse design, and that reverse design is really the Australian coat of arms from 1908, the original Australian coat of arms. So we have a look over here. If we can zoom in just a little bit. So we've also got the old Australian coat of arms. We've got the kangaroo and the emu holding up a shield. And within the shield, we have the cross of St. George. And we've also got the banner down below, Advance Australia, which is our motto. The year that the coin was minted, which is in this case 1945. And of course, up on the top, we have the denomination of the sixpence. So this design has remained on the sixpence throughout the year of 1910 all the way through to 1963. So its entire year of mintage has pretty much got the same design as we can see here. Now, what has really changed with the sixpence throughout its years is the obverse of the coin, where we had different monarchs. So we look at the obverse of the first coin that was released in 1910. We have King Edward VII, the effigy of King Edward VII. This one's a little bit worn, unfortunately. But yeah, we had the effigy of King Edward VII. He actually did pass away in 1910, though. So this is the only year that we had King Edward VII on our coin. Of course, King George V then took over as the next reigning monarch in the British Empire, and so therefore, from 1911 onwards, we had King George V. Now, unfortunately, this one's a little bit worn and crusty, I'm afraid. I'll show you guys a little bit of a better example later, very soon. But yeah, from 1911 all the way through to 1936, we had King George V. This one's a little bit nicer. You can see his crown as well, his coronation crown. Very nice. And of course, we didn't have a sixpence minted in 1937, mainly because when King George V passed away, it was supposed to be King Edward VIII that was supposed to rise up to the throne, but he actually abdicated a couple of months later, and towards the end of 1937. So instead of releasing a coin for him, we got the coin in 1938, released with his brother, King George VI, who then took up the throne. So of course King George VI remained on the sixpence, as well as all our other coinage, all the way through till 1952, when he eventually passed away. That was the last year we saw the effigy of King George VI. And then of course in 1953 we then had Queen Elizabeth II, who then took over as monarch from 1952 onwards. And we had the young age of Queen Elizabeth from here all the way through till the end of the sixpence, or till the last time we actually minted the sixpence in 1963. And of course we still continued her portrait through to our decimal currency when we switched over in 1966, 14th of February 1966. Now let's start looking at some mint marks. And the main mint mark we want to look at would have been from the year of 1916 all the way through to 1920. Now unfortunately, I don't actually have the 1916 or 1917 to showcase to you guys. I'm still trying to look for them for a reasonable price above spot. But I still have a 1918 through to 1920 to show you. And as you can see, if we zoom in a little bit closer, we can see a little tiny mint mark right beneath the date, and that mint mark is an M. Same with the 1919 and 1920. This one's a little bit more worn, but it's still there. And basically, it just indicates that it's from the Melbourne Mint. Now, they started to do this after they took over the primary minting of the sixpence from the London Mint, because the London Mint actually minted our first few coinage. But it didn't really last. From 1921 onwards, they didn't actually put any more mint marks on it. They just continued minting it as usual without a mint mark, as we can see here. The next time we would see mint marks on our sixpence would have been from 1942 to 1944. Let me showcase them to you, just making sure I'm picking up the right dates, because they are very small. And I'll showcase these to you accordingly. So as we can see over here, we've got 1942 over here, and it has a little D mint mark right underneath the Advanced Australia, scroll here. And same with, oh sorry, it's a banner, the Advanced Australia banner here. So this is the little D mint mark underneath here, and same with this little 1942. This one has an S mint mark. And the D and the S stands for Denver and San Francisco Mint, respectively. So these were actually made in the United States. And same thing happened in 1943. You can see here a little D mint mark there. This is a 1942. This one doesn't actually have a mint mark, which means that this one was actually made in Australia. But here in 1943, we also have another S here. This is made from the San Francisco Mint. Oops. And of course, in 1944, which was this one, you only find the 1944 ones with an S mint mark, so they were all made from the San Francisco Mint. How cool is that? Now, why did they actually have these mint marks? Why were they actually made in the United States? Well, the main reason was because quite a lot of them, the main reason why quite a lot of them were made in the United States was because of the Japanese invasion of the Southeast Asia Pacific. It became a concern that Australia might also come under attack by the Japanese, and so therefore the United States actually sent troops to be stationed in Australia. And the problem with that was quite a lot of the troops needed to buy quite a lot of the provisions from Australia, obviously. And a lot of the provisions, a lot of the current coins that we had in Australia wasn't sufficient to keep up with the demand. We only had two mints, which was the Melbourne Mint and the Perth Mint, minting these coins, and they couldn't keep up with the demand. So therefore, we actually sent silver bullion across the Pacific over to the United States for the San Francisco and the Denver Mint to mint millions of sixpences, threepences, shillings, and florins for us. So that's a pretty cool history as to why we actually had these sixpences with these United States mint marks, because they were needed to be made as a way of an emergency, by way of an emergency. Now, ever since then, we didn't have any more mint marks, except for the year, well, the last time we actually had a mint mark would have been 1951. I have two of them over here for you, and there's a reason why to that. So if we have a look, and if I can angle it nicely, and zoom in a little bit more, we can see here this one doesn't actually have a mint mark underneath the Advanced Australia. That's indicative that this was actually made in Australia. But this one, on the other hand, has a small PL right underneath that banner. Now, interesting fact, the PL indicates that it's actually from the London Mint. And the letters actually stand for Pecunia Londini, also known as Money of London. How cool is that? And the London Mint was actually contracted by the Australian government to help mint these coins, because we actually had a bit of a post-war coin shortage in Australia. So that's the reason why you find quite a few of them during this year that have a little PL in it. How cool is that? But so yeah, that was the absolute last time we actually had a mint mark on our sixpence. We never had any more ever since. All right, now let's talk some numbers. And before that, I've got to add a little bit more coins to what we currently see here in the tray, because I actually have more than what we see here. Now, some of you have asked me in previous videos why I actually put quite a lot of my junk silver in capsules you see here. And the reason for that is because I'm actually doing a date run for all the junk silver predecimal coins that I have. So that would be the florins, that would be the shillings, the sixpences as well, and of course the threepences too. And I don't really like keeping them in the one of those little books, or like a Whitman folder or anything like that. I find them to be too bulky, and I do like to store them or stack them into a nice compact case. Hence the reason why I actually prefer to put it into these little cases here and number them by the date, or order them by the dates in chronological order. But in addition to what you currently see here, I do also have a little bit of additional sixpences over here. Oh yes, have a listen to that. Beautiful pieces of money. Oh yes. So a little bit more over there. And that's not all, because I also have a nice little letter opening as well. Ooh, more in the mail. I love it, love it, love it. Let's have a quick unopening of what we have here. Letter opening. I don't have an unboxing. Letter opening is the next best thing. If I can get this to crack open. Oh yes. Let's keep it going all the way through. Let's see what we got here. Okay. Alright, I will put this aside because I don't want you to see details of my personal details, but I will remove the coin out of it. And this is what we have. And here we are. This here, ladies and gentlemen, yes, this is my 1916 sixpence, a recent acquirement. Yeah, okay, sure. It is quite worn. It is not in the best of conditions, but it is a date that is pretty hard to get. So the fact that I got it and I can still see the date, I'm happy with that. And that belongs right there, 1916. Let's pop it out of the flip first and foremost. Oh, look at that. Well worn, but still a 1916. A little bit of turning up on the top. Still absolutely love it. Let's pop it into this little spot here. And then, if I can just pop this in. Ooh. What happened to the other part of it? Oh, it's over there. plop that in there, and oh yes, another sixpence to the collection. Look at that, absolutely beautiful. All I need now is a 1917 sixpence, and then that's it. I've completely done my date run for the sixpences. How awesome is that? Now, the numbers. So I have 92.5%. I've got 38 coins altogether. So if I times that by 0.0839 troy ounces, that gives me about 3.1882 troy ounces of silver. That is for my 92.5% coins. That is from the years between 1910 all the way through to 1945, and that would be sterling silver. Now, with regards to the 50%, between the years of 1946 all the way through to 1963, that would be 27 coins by 0.0453 ounces per coin, which gives me about 1.2231 troy ounces. Now altogether, that means for what you see here as a tray of sixpences, I've got 4.4113 ounces of silver. Now we have a look at the current spot price as of the 11th of August of 2026 on a Tuesday. Ooh, would you look at that? Well, would you look at this? Let me show if I can see if I can show you guys. Current spot price of silver is currently sitting at 91.87 Australian dollars an ounce. That's actually quite impressive over the last week that we see here. It's a nice little run up, you can see. Are we in a silver bull run again? Do you guys think this will hold up, or do you guys think this is some sort of trap? You know, who knows? By the time I post this video, maybe it's already starting to crash down even further. I don't know whether to take this as a trap or not, but hell, that's actually quite nice to see. So $91.87 an ounce, pretty good. If you're wondering what that is in United States dollars, you can quickly check that. It's currently sitting at about $64.90 USD per ounce. That's pretty cool. It's almost at 65 US dollars an ounce for silver. But we're in Australia. I'm going to use the Aussie dollars. So that's 91.86. And if we times that by what we currently see here on this tray, which is 4.4113 ounces. That means that what you see here is worth $405.22. How awesome is that? So, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for the Australian sixpence. Let me know in the comments below, do you guys stack the Australian sixpence as part of your silver portfolio, or perhaps any other Australian junk silver denominations that you stack as part of your portfolio? And if you're outside of Australia, do you stack your own country's version of junk silver? Like in the United States, perhaps you guys are stacking constitutional silver. It's likely that if you are watching from the United States, you probably do actually have a nice little stack of constitutional silver. I've seen quite a lot of YouTubers from the US who also stack constitutional silver. So let me know, is anyone here watching actually stack any of these? And also let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think of the recent run-up of silver and gold over the last week? Is it a resurgence of the bull run for silver and gold? Or maybe it's a trap. Maybe it's only going up 10-15% now, only to go down another 25% later on. Perhaps it's already gone down by the time I posted this video. Let me know in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Do subscribe to my channel if you want to see future videos on the Australian junk silver or anything else to do with Australian personal finance, where I invest in property, shares, and of course, lovely precious metals. Have a good one, guys.